What a moron I am. Oh my word. Jeez. So I went through the whole introduction. I did the whole intro, got the whole intro sound going, you know, it was all good. And then I pressed the talking, and then I started talking into the microphone, and then my eye caught the fact that I didn't actually press the start button on the stream deck. So, oh my word, for the past 5 minutes I've been talking to myself. Oh, good. Well, hello coders. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. I hope your weekend's going a little bit smoother than mine. And you're pressing the buttons in the right order. So today we're going to be dealing with or working through the code challenges for January, and I'm also going to be announcing the code challenges for February as well. Plus, we're going to be dealing with a little bit of Gatsby JS, because I got some changes that I want to play with the howtocodewell.net alpha site. We got there in the end. So I've also got some cakes, because I'm fueling myself today on cake. So we've got one of these blue cakes here, and we've got one of these, pink cakes. So I'm going to be munching on these cakes throughout the streams as well. These are super nice cakes that were made by my wife. Super tasty. Very tasty cakes. And I've got my tea and my juice. So it's almost like I'm ready. Gosh, I can't believe I did that. I was chatting to everybody, and then I realized the start button was still saying start instead of stop, and I just thought, wow. Good. Hello everybody. Hello CSW Gaming, and hello Tyrannid as well. Thank you very much for joining and being patient with the start of this. So I want to just play around with the challenges site just for a second. I'm just finishing off some of the levels here. We're going to be playing around with that should be fine. We'll leave that. We're going to be playing around with some passwords in the next challenge, in the February's challenge. I put a notice out to the pro users on the Discord server of a challenge that I was considering doing, and then we had some awesome feedback about another challenge. So I've been playing around with yeah, I was 100% sure was 1 hour. Yeah, just imagine if I did the whole thing in an hour, and then I realized I did the whole stream and then finished, realizing that actually I hadn't pressed the start button. Wow. Yeah, so we're going to be playing around with some passwords. Passwords in the next challenge. But this challenge, the January challenge, let's bring this up here. The January challenge we're going to play with. So let's go on to the browser. Now I've decided to use Chrome over Safari, and I think this is going to be my decision going forward. This year, to be honest. So bear with me just a second, because I haven't sorted the browser history out. So as in, I haven't ported the Safari over. So let me just try and find codingchallenges.howtocodewell.net. There we go. Bring that up here. Let me make sure everybody can see it okay. And also, whilst that's happening, I'm going to press play on the music. Let's just turn the music down a wee bit. I was playing around. There we go. Bring it down. There we go. I was playing around with some other bits and pieces, so hence the music's up, because I was editing the podcast. Okay, so the January 2020 code challenges. We have a series of levels here. We'll talk through the first level. So the first level is create a JSON form configuration file. Okay, so this is a JavaScript object notation file, and it is to represent a form and its fields. The form must include the first name. This must be a text box. It must be required. The last name, again, it's a text box, but this time it's optional. A section in here, a select box even. A select box, where did you hear about select box? It must be required, and the options are YouTube, Twitch, Discord, or other. Okay, bonus points. Add configuration for additional form fields. Add configuration for data validation. Now, I didn't go into any detail as to the validation of these, but, you know, based on, you know, they have to be required, but you might have added some more validation, you know, up to you, really. Add configuration for validation messages. Add configuration for form actions and method. I'm going to just push this into the challenges, the chat. I haven't even had any cake yet. Any E-numbers? Level 2, convert this into a HTML form. So use JavaScript or PHP to convert the JSON configuration into a usable form. Okay, so this is where you're looping through this JSON form config, pulling out all the various bits and pieces, and then constructing a HTML form off of the back of it. The idea being, of course, you can change one of these things. Hello, Sniper Side. Hope you're well. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. The idea is that you would create a JSON file, and you would alter the JSON file, and it would alter the HTML form for you. Handle the form submission via PHP. This is level 3 here. When the form is submitted, read the values into PHP. So this is going through the post request values and reading them, you know, basically setting those to variables. And then from here, create an XML file per form submission. So also in level 3, I should say that this is where the validation needs to happen. I probably should have explicitly put that there. But if the validation is correct, so if all these things are valid and blah, 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 then what we wanted to do is create an XML file per form submission. This means that for every time the form gets submitted, an XML file is created. And the XML file will have a timestamp as the file name. Create an XML file per form submission which stores the values. Now, I didn't go into any detail as to the structure of the XML form. Essentially, it's going to mimic the JSON structure, I guess. And then here, bonus points, design code config so that form fields can be configured differently without altering the PHP code. This is the gotcha. So, now, you know, with all of these things, you don't have to do all the levels. There's no, you know, I'm not going to not review these if you don't complete all the levels. And I appreciate this is quite big. This is fairly big here. So I'm going to grab some tea and then we're going to get into it. Tea and cake. It's all good stuff. So, okay, so we have a submission. Excuse me. From Tyrannad, and this is the January Challenge 2020, and it's PHP looking at the stuff, which is all good. We have the JSON file here. Let's take a little look. Let's bring this up to here. So, okay, we have the method, which is post. We have an action, which is a blank string. So that would be, I would assume, I haven't done this yet. I haven't run this yet. This is the first time of actually going through this JSON file. This would be posting this back to itself, one would assume. The fields here, this is really good. I like this. So this is an array of fields. So each one of these is an object, and we have the type, which is text, required, which is true, nice, like it. So that's the first name, right? F name, yep, first name, sweet. So then down here we have another one, which is text, which is good, last name, L name. We also have classes, that's nice, and an ID, cool. We don't have required true on here because I did say it was optional, so I'm assuming that because there isn't a required item here, then that means that it is optional, which is good. Okay, down here we have a select box, it looks like. So where did you hear about? my English. Okay, so we have the name here. That's the form. That's the field name, I presume, and then the ID, and then these are the options. Nice, I like it. Good, good, good. We also have some more. This is cool. So we have a text area. This is a text area. We have a radio. Where did you hear about? Oh, nice. I like it. I like it. I like it. And a checkbox. Very good. Very, very good. And a submit button as well. And submit text. Nice. I like it. Don't worry about the validation. It's all good. I mean, to be honest, having it required is required, but it's all good. Hey, Biggie Boss. Thank you for joining. We're doing a code review. This looks good. I like it. Okay, let's have a little wander into the land of the code. So we have the README here. So create the JSON file config. That's level 1. Awesome. Then we have level 2. Convert this into a HTML form. So form manager get HTML. So that's cool. So that's echoing out that to excuse me, I'll just spat all over my microphone. That's not good. So yes, this would get the HTML of the form based on the config. Nice. Level 3, handle the form submission. That's cool. I'll check that out in a moment. Create level 4, create an XML file per form submission. Function used, form manager, intercept, submit. Nice. Improvements, add validation for JSON configuration, add form validation, cool. Add custom validation messages. Pre-populate form in case of errors, additional checks for form submit. Nice. I like this. This shows that there is a good level of thought as to what could happen sort of in the next phase, which is good. We will see, Tyrannid. We will see. Let's go to the index. So what we've got here is whoops, sorry, my magic mouse was going a bit crazy. Cool. So it's a HTML form. That's all a HTML page. That's good. So no crazy JavaScript stuff. It's all good. We're getting some bits and pieces from a CDN, which is Bootstrap, I believe. All good, all good, all good. And then down here we have some Bootstrap and Popper. What's Popper? I've never seen Popper before. Nice. And some more jQuery too as well. Awesome. Let's see if we can fire this up. So let's go back to here. I'm going to grab also, what I've noticed is there's a license in here as well. That's good. I like that. Whoops. I like that. All good things. So let's clone. And let's go into the code. Ah, okay. Okay, cool. Popper is a required library for Bootstrap 4. Nice. Okay, so I'm in my code challenges directory. I'm going to create a new one because this is 2020. Now, we're going to go into 2020. Whoops. And I need to follow the convention of the others. So it was, which I can't remember. So let's do an ls-al. Bear with me just a second whilst I try and 2019. How did I do it? It was the number of the month and then the month itself. Fine. Okay, so we're going to do a mqdir and we're going to do 01 for the month number, and then it's January. Cool. Let's go into there, and then let's do an ls. Let's clear that down, and let's finally do a git clone. Git clone. Do an ls. Go into January. Okay, I have your files. Okay, so there's a vendor directory. There is no composer doobry thingy. So let's check out vendor. Let's do cd into vendor. Groovy. Okay, so this is where the form manager lives and the fields. Okay, I'll check that out in just a second. I'm going to spin up PHP Storm and make it behave and actually point it to the right place. Bear with me a second whilst I do all of this. I'm looking for this directory, and it is in challenges 2020. This one here, January 20 challenge 2020. Open that one up. New window. Thank you. Cool. Okay. All good. No crazy warnings, no crazy errors. The JSON looks perfectly fine. There's no, like, I'm looking on the right-hand side here for flags that will tell me if there's any kind of errors or warnings. There's a few here, but nothing mental, I don't think. No, this is all right. This is just telling me about the these things. That's fine. Let's take a look at the form manager. This is where everything lives. Okay. Is this because I'm running a different version of... Yes, I am. Switch to a language level. Bear with me a minute. I haven't set this up. I think this is running off of an old version of PHP because I was playing around with some dirty PHP 5 code the other day. PHP... I'm looking for... languages. There we go, 5.6. No, thank you. Let's go straight to 7.4. Good. Okay, yep, that's all good. That's all good. Everything's come back now and is it good? Good. Fields. Yep, quick look on those things. Nothing coming up on the here. Redundant closing tag. Okay. Only a small thing. Groovy. Okay. Have you noticed I'm bleeding this out? Okay, so let's do a ls here. Let's see if we can get it running off of PHP, running in a local server. So I'm just going to do PHP-v just to check. It's running PHP 7.3, which probably will have a bit of an issue. So I'll just try it, but it'll probably have a little bit of a moan. Localhost 8081. We're going to run it against the current working directory, I think. Okay. Here we go. Grab that. Why does this not have a link? I mean, come on. Okay, so file, put contents, submissions, failed to open stream, no such file or directory in vendor online 131. It does look very nice though. I can see all of these have been populated correctly. We've got the last name and the first name here, and we've got our select box here, our text box, and even some checkboxes. So that all works really well. There was an error whilst processing your request. No such file or directory in blah 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 131. Now I'm not sure whether this is because... Let me just have a look at the code. So form manager on 131. 131. Here we go. Okay, so this doesn't look like it's like a PHP specific version thing. That's what I was checking. So file, put contents, time, XML. So intercept, submit. Why are we in intercept, submit? Let's do a submit. Let's just fill it out. Peter Fisher. What do you hear about Peter Fisher? Other. Hello world. What did you hear about? YouTube, Twitch. And there's a password field here. Oh, that's nice. Actually changes to a password. So I'm going to put in test 1, 2, 3. Send. Boom. So Hang on, whilst I have my drink. Did that file get saved? That looks like it's gone to submissions, sub. Does this mean that I need to have, if I do git ignore, an actual directory called submissions? I think that might be the case. I think. Let me just see. Sometimes it's in the git ignore file. No. Ba, 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 ba. Okay. So, okay, the validation's up and running. Nice. But submissions, I think what I'm going to do is create myself a directory called submissions. I think that's what I'm missing here. Bear with me just a second whilst I because I want to get the spelling right. My spelling's terrible. Do. There we go. Create submissions. And let's just keep it as is. I might have to play with the actual permissions of submissions. Permissions of submissions. Okay, let's refresh. Continue. Form is submitted. Okay, let's just create something else. Twitch, test, YouTube, test, send. Okay, form is submitted and there is submissions. So it is working. It is working. Okay, let's have a look at these XML files. Nice. So we have the F name.
Hello, coders.
Hey, hello. Hello, Jen Reggie. I hope that's a right pronunciation of your username. I am doing a code review at the moment for the January coding challenges. We're reviewing Tyranids January challenge, and it's looking really, really good so far. We've actually been able to get an XML file out of this, which is really good. That's nice. I like it. I like that a lot. Yeah. Okay. So let's see if we can hack it about, shall we? So let's say, for instance, let's say, for instance, I want to have the first name as something that isn't required. So let's say I want to have that as false. Okay, so if I was to come here and then let's just load that up again and then hit send. Excellent. That's really, really good. So beforehand, what was happening if I did false, if I did true like this, and then, refresh the page and then press send, it would say, please fill out this field. Can you see that? So send, please fill in this field. However, if I was to set this to be false and then hit save and then press, I'll have to refresh it to load it back up again. Hit send, we don't. We get this one down here, please fill in this field, which, you know, the password is also required. So that's false, and the select box is true. However, there is a default option there, which is fine. That's cool. And it also shows the selected one as well. We'll play around with that in just a second. But down here, I'm assuming there's a password which is required, which is true. Awesome. Okay, let's see if I can play around with the select box here. So I've just seen that the select box has a selected on one of the particular options. So we're just going to grab that. We're going to remove that from Twitch, and we're going to put it onto YouTube. Whoops. And hit save. Then we're going to go over to here, and notice that this is set by default. If I was to refresh here, what's going to happen? Okay, we have have I blown it up? Have I blown it up? Let me go back a minute. Oh, hang on. It's because I've broken the JSON, I think. There we go. YouTube. There we go. It was my fault. That's now changed to YouTube, and let's see if we can change that to something else just to get another test here. Let's do Discord, so comma, and then bring that in. Refresh this page. That should change now to Discord, and it does. This is really, really good. I like it. I'm going to just put some more tunes on. Bear with me just a second. That one. Yeah, so this is really good. You've done a really good work here. Let's see if I can break it. Let's not put anything selected. What happens? Does it take the first one? Yes, it does. Awesome. Okay, so that's not requiring it. That's good. Check boxes this time. Well, I'll tell you what happens if you put selected on both of them? Right, because you can only have one selected, so what happens if I put Twitch and Discord? I haven't looked at the code yet, so... Yes, this is... No, Blazar, this is for the January challenge. So we're going to refresh this one. So it goes to Discord. Okay, that's cool. So that to me suggests that it's looping over and it's getting the last one that is selected. So if I was to remove that one, it goes to Twitch. Sweet. Good. And can you see all of these submissions that have been happening here? So, okay. So one thing I would suggest is to only create the XML when the send button has been pressed rather than on a refresh. I'm assuming these are going to be, these new ones are going to be sort of blank. Yes. Okay, cool. Good. Okay, let's just take a look at the code, shall we? So let's start from index, wherever that's gone. There we go, index. Okay, so we're running a require once vendor form manager. So we're in vendor form manager here. Form manager is an instantiation of form manager, passing in the file. I like that because that means that we can change the file as well at future. Success submit is intercept submit. Okay, I'll have a look at that in just a second. So using Bootstrap, and we've also got the some custom styles here too. If success submit, so does that return a boolean? It returns an int. Okay, so if success submit, form submitted. There was an error processing. Okay, so that's the error bits and pieces. Fine. Please fill in your informations. Please fill in all the information. Okay, that's good. And then here is the piece of magic to get the HTML. Let's go and take a look at the form manager. We instantiate the form manager. This is good. Okay, so it can be get and it can be post. Get HTML. So we loop over the fields. Get the HTML for the field. Okay. And then generate fields. So we're working, this is like a factory method here. So we are getting the field type and we're instantiating the particular field that is based on the type here. Okay, let's open up one of these things. Ah, this is fields.php, hence the S. Okay, so you've got all of the fields in one place. That's cool. Okay. I was wondering, I was like, where are they? But they're here. Gosh, this is a lot of work. Cool. Be careful on your spaces. It's just when you're reading this at a glance, it can be sort of hard to work out because there's no spaces in between the operators. It's all good. I mean, notice. Let's get rid of that one. Notice that there is no there's that missing property up there. It looks like that's from type. Oh, that's missing the type declaration. That's all. But it's fine. That's the text area. That's the radio field. I like it. I do. I do. So let's see if we can play with this a little bit. Let's say, for instance, I want to create another form field. Let's just create, let's say, I don't know, a text box. Let's grab that. We'll put it here. Okay, so I want to create a text box, and I want to call this email. And I want to say email. Email. I can't spell M. Since when does email have a unit? Email address. Required is true. Let's refresh the page. Oh yes, we do have the email in here. Awesome. So let's do. Let's fill this all out. Test@test.com. Whoever has test.test.com is going to get a lot of emails. Let's hit send. Okay, this form is submitted, and it would be this one here. Yes, we do have the email, so that's gone through. Nice. Well done. Well done. That's really, really good. I need a cake. I think you deserve one as well. Well done, Tyrannid. Awesome. Thumbs up. Improvements, I would suggest, obviously having checking that the form was submitted before actually creating the XML file. That would be one thing. And the other one is to make sure that you have spaces in between the operators. Should use... Not sure what you mean, Sniper Side. Oh, here? Do you mean? Oh, sorry, in the password. Yeah, I mean, this could be hashed, right? You could hash this. We'll get on to hashing in just a second, because that's part of the February challenge. Also, with the fields, this is personal preference really, but I would have an interface which requires get HTML just for belt and braces sake. Formatting, just check the formatting a little bit. It's a little bit tight. Again, personal preference. I'm really being nitpicky. Yes. Yes, Sniper Side. Yes, you could put in the asterisks. This is only testing. This isn't. I don't know what you mean, Sniper Side, to be honest. But yes, it looks good. Thank you very much for this. I'm going to eat some cake. And then I'm going to talk about the February challenge. Bear with me. I'm going to eat the blue one. The blue cake. Take a bite of it. Mmm. So, February challenge. So I put a question out to the Discord server last night as to on the Pro user channel with a suggestion of one of the, you know, a code challenge that we could do, but a better one was returned by the users, and it was about encoding. It was about passwords, and so I gave it a bit of thought, and I thought how we can do it, you know, how we can use it in a way that is different levels. So the first level, sort of level of difficulty, if you will, is to create a PHP command that encodes a password. Essentially, run a PHP file. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, thank you, Tunid. Gotcha. So yeah, run a PHP command that takes a string as an argument and then converts that into a hash using perhaps bcrypt. The hash is returned. So this command could, I mean, it could be, you could go as complicated as you want, to be honest, but I'm going to try and, you know, put down the high level stuff in this February challenge here. So it could be a website that you just refresh the page and it just comes back with an encoded hash of a random string, or it could be a command that you run. You give it an argument which is a password, and it returns an encoded string. So PHP encode a password. So I'm gonna have an option here. This could either be a command or a web page that converts a string to a hash. Let me just bear with me just a second whilst I get the right terminology correct, because I want to make sure that this is correct. Bear with me just a second. Without trying to give too much away. Okay. So yes, it would return a password hash. I've said bcrypt, but let's just keep it as hash, because you might want to use something else. But kudos if you use bcrypt. This could either be a command or a web page that converts a string, a given string, to a hash. Okay. Level 2. Add the hashed password to a text file via the command. So to a text file, because it's an optional thing. The thing is, I think because level 1 is supposed to be the lowest level, I don't want to just say it has to be a command. If you want to just have a page, a PHP page that you refresh, and then it just prints a hash to the page, by all means, go ahead. Or if you want to have a PHP command and you type in PHP and then, I won't tell you the command, but if you put in the argument as the string and then that returns as an output the hash string, that'd be fine. Okay, so add the hashed password to a text file. So basically every time you do that, every time you refresh the page, or if you run the command, I want you to create that hashed password to a new text file. Or actually not to a new to a text file. Yeah, that's fine. So this is going to have, for every hashed password, create a new line in a text file. oh, I should just say create a new line in a text file for every hashed password. That would probably make sense. Create a new line in a text file for every hashed password. Level 3. So, level 3, create a form that checks the password, the unhashed password. Remember, we're dealing with hashes and we're dealing with passwords. So, clear text passwords. So, create a form that checks the submitted password against the list of hashed passwords. All right. Now I'm going to do something a bit cray-cray, a little bit nuts. Let's say we don't need to have PHP. Let's say that this could either be done, use JavaScript or PHP. Okay, now it opens it up. So it doesn't have to be a PHP thing. If you're a JavaScript dev, you need to also know how to do these things too. So use JavaScript or PHP to encode the passwords. I can't believe I used the word cray-cray. That is cray-cray. Okay, this could either be a command or a web page that converts a given string to a hashed string. Okay, so if you want to use bcrypt, please use bcrypt. Try, if you're using PHP, try and do that. Level 2, add the hashed password. Add the hashed password to a text file. Create a new line in a text file for every hashed password. Okay. Level 3, create a form that checks submitted passwords against the list of hashed passwords. Against the list of hashed passwords. So here I want you to loop over existing passwords, existing hashes, I should say, and check and compare passwords against stored hash. Essentially, if you think of the text file like a database, it's just a way that I can create, I mean, I'm sure at one point we will have database challenges. There's a little bit of setup involved for that. This just, I was even thinking of using SQLite, but, a text file will do. Loop over existing hashes and compare passwords against the stored. Now, this is going to teach a lot of things. First of all, it's going to teach you how to encode a string. So maybe we shouldn't even call it passwords. Maybe we should just call it encode a string. Encode a string. Okay. Use JavaScript or PHP to encode the strings. This could either be a command, blah, blah, blah. Yep, that's cool. Add the hash string to a text file. Create a new line in a text file for every hashed string created. For every created hash string. For every created hash string. Level 3, create a form that checks the submitted clear text strings against the list of hashed strings. Okay. Loop over existing hashes and compare clear text strings against the stored hashes. Does that make sense? Loop over the existing hashes and compare... No. and compare, that doesn't make sense, and compare hashed clear text string, sorry, I shouldn't do that, and compare submitted clear text string against the stored submitted string against hashed. So essentially what you need to do is you need to hash the string, store it in a text file, and then when you fill out your form, you need to hash that and compare that against the hashes, essentially. Sorry, King Melon Live. Yes, I did. This is the February challenge. The February, I'll go through it as I've just spewed it onto the page. So, in what I would like to do, 3 levels. The first level is to encode a string. For this, you could either use JavaScript or PHP. Not bothered. So this could either be a command that you run. So it could be an npm command that you run, or it could be a PHP command, or it could even be a web page that you refresh, and it will convert a given string. So if it's a web page, perhaps have it as a GET request, or a POST request. So you post a string to the page, it gets that, and then converts that into a hashed string. Okay. Store that hash string, this is level 2 now, store that hash string in a text file. For every new hashed string you generate, create another line in that text file, a new line. Level 3, create a form that checks the submitted clear text string, alright, submitted, I'm just going to say submitted string, rather than clear text, it's a bit obvious. Create a form that checks the submitted strings against the list of hashed strings. That doesn't sound right. Create a form that checks the submitted strings. Create a form that hashes. No. Create a form that checks submitted strings. That hashes submitted strings and checks them that hashes submitted strings and verifies the stored verifies the encryption. Right. I think that's probably... I don't want to use the word password because then that gets people a little bit nanksy. Like, why are you storing them in text files? I don't want to do that. You know, I'm storing this in text files because it's making my life a little easier. You know, I don't want to have to set up databases for this, for every challenge. You know, could you imagine? That would be a bit ridiculous. So, create a form that submits getting my languages that verifies the encryption of a submitted string. Loop over the existing hashes and compare submitted and check the encryption and verify the encryption. verify that the string exists in the stored list. So I would like an output. So output print the result and the decoded print the result. So, and also if strings match, or if strings have been decoded, then print out the decoded string. There we go, which is basically the string that you've submitted. Okay, so just in case this doesn't make sense, and if it doesn't, please let me know, but I will just go through it again. So level 1, encode a string. Okay, so you can either use JavaScript or PHP to encode the strings. The mechanism to do this could either be a command, so you could either run an npm command or a JavaScript command or a PHP command, taking an argument. So I will put that in. So taking an argument, which is the string, or if you wanted to, the easiest route is to just have a web page that when you refresh the page, it takes perhaps a posted variable or a get variable if you want to put it in a query string as the string, and then it encodes that, hashes that. That's level 1. Level 2, add the hashed string to a text file. For every new generated hash, create a new line in that text file. Level 3 is create a form that verifies the encryption of a submitted string. The idea is that you want to then have a form with a submit button, fill out that form or fill out that text box with the encrypted string, and then the response should either print the result, you know, it worked or it didn't work, as well as the decoded string in there as well. I might dress it up a little bit after this stream, but to make it sound a little bit better, I guess, because that sounds a little clunky, but essentially that's what I want. It's basically like a password verification, but I don't want to call it password verification because people are going to get frustrated the fact that it's being stored in clear text. So, yeah. Okay, that's it. Awesome. Thank you ever so much, everybody, for submitting the January challenge. And if you've got any questions on the February challenge, then please let me know. I will push this live after the stream. I will save that now. I'm going to grab a cup of tea because I want to have some more of my cake. And then we're going to get into some Gatsby fun. So bear with me just a second whilst I pop downstairs, grab a cup of tea. Kettle is still boiling. I can. Whilst the kettle's boiling, bear with me a minute. Now I'm not going to be able to hear the kettle boil, but whilst I'm... This is weird. There we go. There's a massive delay in this stream. I've just noticed. So I hope it's not caused too much issues. Has the kettle boiled? I think may have done. I would like to get the How to Code Well, the new How to Code Well site up and running. Portal. New window, please.
Yeah, fuck remote controller, man. What the fuck, nigga? It's PlayStation music. That's the mix.
Where is that coming from? So this is the portal. Let's do a refresh. A Git repository pull. Yes, please. There we go. And also, what I'm going to do is run this in npm as well. So let's clear this down. I believe this is in, let me see if I can grab it. Let's see if I can grab it. How to code well, is it in there? Yeah, portal. ls. Groovy. Okay, I'm just gonna run npm install, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that will go through. I'm just gonna run down and grab a cup of tea. Okay, bear with me just a mo. Ah, good. I think that all went through. Yes. Cool. So I do apologize if anybody heard that. The playlist that I'm running has like this piece of music in it. I say music very, very loosely. It's just this guy swearing, using language that I would never dream of using. So I've quickly skipped that on. So I do apologize if anyone caught that and was offended. I certainly don't agree with that. Cake. So. I've done a lot of work on this. And I don't know when I did it. Like, it was probably crammed in one evening. Or over a couple of evenings. There we go. So, we've got, let's remove that. We've got a fair amount of changes that I could show you, I suppose. One thing I've done, can you see that we have now an account with logged out? So this is running Nightmare. This is Nightmare and Jest together. We are slowly creating a profile screen, sort of an account for members. Now, I haven't set up the actual password, login, logout, authentication stuff. However, I have been playing around with the it's in services, isn't it? The auth.js. So you can put in a hard-coded thing at the moment. So obviously this will be eventually going off to an API. And then here we have a menu profile. So this is just a menu for the profile menu. I'll show you that in just a second. If I was to go over to here, if I can find the thing. Let's just make sure it works. I can't remember. Did I call it? Account. Yeah, I was having a bit of a debate with myself as to whether or not I should call it profile or account or, you know, member. I don't know. Okay. Now, this looks terrible. You know, the actual look of it doesn't look good at all. But this is when you're in the account. So, I'm thinking like on the left-hand side, you would have your links to various places. This would become the dashboard, but then you would have your My Profile and the courses and the security bits and pieces, and eventually, hopefully, other things. Now, excuse me, I am looking for a web designer, to tidy this up and make this look really, really good. So I'm literally just throwing things on the page and seeing where things should go rather than making them look nice. So I mean, there's far better people than me who I'm not a designer one bit. So, you know, I mean, look at the alignment there. The how to code well should be aligned here, and yeah, terrible. But I'm focusing on the functionality rather than how it looks at the moment. Kind of. I have put this as a dark mode background. But anyway, we have accounts. I think we also have profile. There we go. So that's the profile. So I need to add the left-hand menu to it as well. I think I'm just going to get rid of that that dark background because it looks terrible. Okay, and then security. So what I want to show you is the tests. So in tests, in acceptance, in accounts, in logged out, we can run these tests, and basically it's checking that that these will go straight back to the login. Okay, so it's checking that there is authentication, which I've hacked together because I need a way of building these screens without having the fact of having the authentication behind it. Once these screens are in place, I will then put in an authentication layer. The authentication layer at the moment, if I go to services, auth, it's a bit like this, to be honest. So you have the check here. So it's checking whether the window is undefined. If not, it gets the path name, and then it makes sure that you are either logged in or logged out. If you're logged out, if you're not logged in, then it will redirect you to window.location. Now you have to do all these types of windows and stuff and make sure they're defined properly, because when you're doing a build of Gatsby, the window isn't available. So you have to put all this in, unfortunately. So in the in the pages, in accounts, in profile, what I'm doing here is on check. It's running all of these things, and then if it's not logged in, then it will redirect. But what I'm doing on the dashboard, this is it, is I'm putting handle login, passing in John and pass as sort of hard-coded stuff, which means that I can work through it. This goes to local storage. So set user here. Up there, window.local storage. So it actually sets them. Simply because I don't trust any music on this playlist that has talking, I'm going to skip this one. And skip the other one. Oh, I think it's crashed. I really do need to sort out the music for this, because it is getting a bit frustrating when things like this happen. So, let's deal with the dashboard here. So we've got this this sort of 2-column layout. We're using Tailwind, and we've got this component menu profile. So if I was to grab all of that and put this in profile itself, like that, and then change this to be profile form, and then click on, I'm not sure if I've sorted this out, if this is account profile. There we go. Okay, so what am I missing here? Oh yes, layout. Whoops, what's wrong with that? That's not good. Let's press Ctrl Z. We've got the meta in twice. It's meta and then layout. Meta and then layout. Okay, cool. Then we have a flex wrap. Okay. No, that's still not good. Meta, location, layout. That loads. That goes down to here. That's that one. This is this one. Why is that parsing error? Unterminated JSX content. Is it because meta data? Yeah, that has that. Layout has that too. Oh yes, I'm missing layout, of course. Yeah. That's better. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna just... I don't like the dark... I was trying to go for a dark theme, but it's not really working for me. So I'm going to remove, I think it's this one here, the grey. Let me try. No, it's not. It's of course it isn't. It is actually in the CSS, isn't it? Styles. It is. There we go. The body background. Let's take that out. There we go. Okay, cool. So let's wire up the menu. So with the menu profile, the menu profile, can we right-click, fix those problems, and we go to the profile menu itself, which I believe is in components, user component, menu profile, right-click, fix ESLint problems. Okay, so this is dashboard, then my profile. This needs to go to here. This needs to go to accounts, profile, like so. This needs to go to courses, security, not being built yet, so that's probably why. Let's go back to the dashboard. Dashboard should just go straight back to the account. Okay, so have we wired this up now? So if I go to dashboard, dashboard, my profile, dashboard, my profile, sweet. So with the dashboard, I'm thinking we would have like boxes for various bits and pieces. Again, I'm not worried about the style for the minute. Okay, courses would go to your courses page. Let's go and create that. So let's just create some placeholders for these things. So in pages, in accounts, we're going to have a file here. We're going to call this courses.js. And with the courses, we can copy that, I suppose. Now, really, thinking about it, this should all go in the layout, to be honest. So we should have a layout for the user and a layout for public, I reckon. So in the profile menu here, my courses, this should go to account / courses. Okay, let's see if that's wired up. My courses, yep, profile, dashboard. Good. And the next one is security. So this is where you're putting in your passwords and various bits and pieces. And your username, or maybe, not sure, changing of a username. It doesn't really match the MVP. So here we're going to have security. And I've got on the board 2FA as a possibility in the future. Menu. Okay. Cool. Oops. No, that didn't go through, did it? Profile, security, courses, profile, and dashboard. Okay. Okay, so let's see if we can refactor this a little bit. We're going to layout here. Layout is defined in layout like this, which is fine. However, I think what I need to do is create a layout specifically for the user. So I'm going to have a layout in here. No. This needs to be a JavaScript file. Sorry. Silly me. And there's a lot of things that we can tidy up here. Like, for instance, there's no need to do any ghost stuff for this. And also we need to put in the various bits and pieces for the actual user layout itself. So let's get rid of various things that we don't need. We don't need this. We don't need that. We don't need this. Okay. Now, I don't believe we need the static queries. I'm going to get rid of this. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's keep it in and then just change this. So let's do in courses.js. This becomes our layout. Well, that does. So in layout here, whoopsie. So we've got a flex wrap, and then we've got the menu thing here. So that's the plus. We've got the header menu. So this needs to be within inside the layout. This is where it's getting a bit complicated, isn't it? So we are here. Essentially, it's a wrapper, isn't it? So it's like that. And the children are within here. I think. If I'm thinking about the semantics of this correctly, I think that's how it kind of rolls. Let's try it. So if we go to, let's pick on one. Let's do courses. So really, layout up here needs to be, instead of common, it needs to be users or user. Layout.js. And we do layout, and we should, I'm hoping, get away with that. Now, we need to put in I've already done it. Sorry. The menu profile. Okay, so I was working on courses, wasn't I? Yeah, because that becomes the children of the course. Okay, good. So let's see if we can get this to run. Failed to compile. What messages do I have here? We have errors in our GraphQL. Encountered duplicate definitions of one or more documents. Each document must have a unique name. Duplicate documents, ghost settings. This is probably why I've got the ghost setting. Yeah. Let's get rid of this because I don't think we need it. And let's change. That's a const there. Menu profile, export default menu profile. So let's const default layout. This should be user layout. Get rid of that. Oh, yeah. Spelling user wrong. Get rid of those. Okay, let's see. Seems okay. Yeah, that seems to have gone through. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. Okay, cool. My machine is starting to crunch, so I've turned the music off. Let's refresh. Looking good. Go to the courses. That doesn't look so good. Element type is invalid. Expected a string for built-in components or class function. So that doesn't appear to be good. Exporting layout was not found. Is it because I changed that name to be user layout? Probably. Refactor that to user layout. Okay. See, my machine is starting to crawl. Then what we do is we go to courses. I've set it to. That needs to be user layout. And that should be layout. And I don't believe we need these. Let's see if we can tidy that up a little bit. Okay, let's see. Can I refresh now? Gotcha. Okay, so that worked. So now our courses, we've refactored it just to be this, so it's now my courses. But because we're wrapping it within the user layout, we now have this, which means that I can adjust all of these Tailwind magic utility methods or class names, and it will adjust the other ones. So I should be able to hopefully now take this and go into index, paste it up here. So this is now my dashboard. Same with profile. And this becomes profile form. So we don't need this and we don't need that because we're running off of the user layout here. If we go to the index, let's just see. Yeah, we don't need the menu profile. We don't need that either. Let's get rid of this. profile here. Security, we can do the same as well. So we're going to grab that. And paste it in there. We're just going to change this to my security. Well, really, I tell you what, really, this needs to be, let's do it properly. This needs to be a H1. And this is my security. This up here in profile needs to be my profile. And here we also have the index, which is my dashboard. This, we're going to change that to H1. And change that to H1 as well. Okay, let's refresh and see what's going on. Okay, so that's good. So we've got the dashboard, my profile, my courses, and security. Sweet. Okay. Okay, so there isn't anything yet to put in dashboard, so I'm not too worried about that. If that needs to drop, then so be it. But it does need to land somewhere. My profile is going to be the profile of the user, so that's going to have to do a fetch to get the user's data and then populate it here. The submit button I really want on the right hand side, I guess, and make that a background color. My courses are going to be the courses that have been viewed. Remember, there's like many tutorials per course, so you'll have like a list of courses, and then you would click onto the course, and then it would take you to the last viewed tutorial within that course. And then security, we're going to have changing of the password, and also in the future, obviously 2FA bits and pieces here. So this could even be itself a dashboard, my security dashboard. Yeah. So I'm kind of thinking ahead here a little bit. But if I was to, let's say if I was to change user layouts, it's not user layout, sorry. If I was to go to auth and change this to be something else, let's do Pete, and foobar, if I hit save, if I went into both security, profile, and index, even courses, it's doing a handle login, and the handle login is trying to log in using John and pass. But if I open that up, we've now set it to be Pete and foobar. So I'm hoping now, if I was to log out, that's what I should do. I should call log out on these things. I should hopefully get be totally logged out and go to the login page. So if we go to index here, if we do log out, on the index, then it will try and handle the login, and then it will check the login, and I'm hoping this is going to push it to the login page because these aren't valid. This is how I'm kind of walking through it. So if I do dashboard now, callback is not a function. Callback is required by the logout. So if I go to logout, then it's set callback. So let's do, in our logout, let's do an alert. You are now logged out, or something like that. Okay, let's refresh. Okay, so you are now logged out. So press OK. And what's happening here? That should... It's still saying callback. Oh, it's because I'm refreshing it. Okay, so I've wiped that. And now let's comment that out. Handle the login. Go to check. Does this now... Yes, it forwards us on to the login page. There we go. Got there in the end. Cool. So now if I did... I think if I did account and then load that up, that should go... Ah, hang on a minute. That's not right. I thought I was going to... Hang on. Profile. I think there's a problem with my build here. Oh, it's because I've commented this out. I'm still logged in. So I want to go back to the dashboard. Callback is not a function. Okay, let's make it a function. That does nothing. So that goes to login. Gotcha. Okay, so that now, I should now, if I go to auth, set user is a blank string or a blank object. Up here, we should do a stringify of that blank object. And then when we do a check, it's checking is logged in is then getting the user, and if there isn't a username, yeah, so let's do account profile. That goes to login. Yeah, there we go. Groovy. Okay, so what I could do is I could have some buttons, couldn't I, for logout, at least. That's what I could do. Let's log ourselves back in, though. So in here, we're going to change this to be whatever I've changed up here. So that's Pete and Fubar. Pete. This is in... Okay, so if we go to account, there we go. Now we're logged in. Okay, so ideally, also we need to have a message that comes up here that says, you know, thank you for logging back in, or something like that. So on handle login, I'm thinking maybe we take a callback as well. So we put the username and the password and a callback to as a message or something. I don't know. Or maybe I put it in local storage as a message and then change that. Lots of decisions I need to make for this. I guess because you're moving from one thing to another, you do need to treat it like a flash message in Symfony, and so you would have it as that, wouldn't you? So perhaps you would do something like, let's do an export of, actually I'm going to have this as a separate file, I think. So in services, we're going to have another file, and we're going to call this file messages. And the messages we're going to have a, I'm just using that for a reference, const set message Let's grab that. Const set message. So that is message, and also let's do it as an object. So this is message and type. So this would become window.localStorage.setItem. So this is message or flash JSON stringify. Well, let's just put that in. I know it doesn't look great, but let's just put that in for testing. And let's have another one for delete message. So it doesn't take anything. And it sets the flash message as a blank object. Something like that, I think. So, whoops. So that's set message, and then I guess we're going to need to have a... I'm thinking of a sort of a component that will display the message, because essentially what I want to do in user layout in at this point here, I want to have messages or notification, something like that. Well, let's call it notices. So in here, I want to create another another thing in here called notices. Like so. And I want to have a div class name is alert. But only if there is messages, essentially. Whoa. So here, I need to do like an if there is notices, show a notice, I think. And then, yeah. Yeah, I can see how this is going to get a little bit hairy in some places. And of course, some of these are going to be handled not only on the post request, but also on the AJAX submission. Let me have a think. Let me have a think. I'll have a cup of tea and some cake. I'm on the red cake now. Yum, 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 yum. Cake, kitty cake, kitty cake. Maybe I'm thinking back to the MVP. Maybe this is too much for the MVP. Like, there definitely needs to be notices, sure. But I could just get away with using alerts. That could work. Or I could see if there is a package out there that I could use. Like, why reinvent the wheel? Pretty sure someone's done this before. So, I think I'm going to go to the board again. Let's go to the board. Bear with me a minute whilst I find the Jira board that we've got here. Okay. Yeah. So I can already see that I'm getting way above me on the plan. In progress, I've got user create forms, and I've been working on notifications. So let's have a look. Let's click on that. So create a profile form, create a security form. I've created the profile form, but I need to save it. That could be a different task. I need an API for that. So the next one here is the security form. So let's work on the security form, and let's delete the notices stuff, because I've gone way above or beyond what I needed to do here. So let's go back to the user layout. Get rid of that. Okay, let's just work on the security form. So we've got current password, new password, and confirm password. So we've got 3 text boxes, or 3 password fields. Okay. So where are we? In form, in profile form, let's copy that and set this to security form. Like that. Sorry. Get rid of my cake crumbs. Change that to form. Okay. Security form. And export the security form. Okay, so we've got current password, new password, and we've also got confirm password. Word, RD. Okay, with validation, we will just put in that. I'll deal with the values of the passwords in just a second. That's fine. Values, if values, yeah, let's just leave that in. I will deal with that in just a second. Let's get the form to actually display. Let's tidy this up. Form. Field here, we've got the first name, so this is confirm. Password. Confirm. Password type is password. There we go. That's fine. Good. Down here then we've got the, let's just delete that and copy this one. We've got our new password. And copy that again. And we have our, I need to turn its form configuration here. We need to have confirm password. Essentially what I want to do is I want to get all of the functionality of the front end done before I start fiddling around with the back end. I mean, I've already started fiddling around with the back end, but it's not in a state to demonstrate yet. But I think what I'm going to do is just get some of these screens to run. Okay, so that's fine. Now, we need to fiddle around with this. So if values dot, so this is checking whether or not they're valid. So if we don't have any new, or sorry, then we have sorry, what was I saying here? Confirm password, new password, confirm password. Confirm password is that should be the existing password. That's what I should call it, rather than like that. Okay, so if existing password, then we have existing password is required. We're not going to worry too much about this. Okay. So, and that's confirm password. This is existing, not current. Okay, let's see if this actually displays. So in security.js, we're going to load security form. And we're going to get rid of all of the old stuff that we don't need. So let's go over to here, refresh, go over to security. There we go, existing password, new password, and confirm password. If I hit submit, that's required. In fact, they're all required, aren't they? To be honest, let's be fair. So, oops. Now I will refactor this. New password. Confirm password. Okay, so that can basically go into one function, to be honest. But let's just work through one by one. So if we hit submit now, they are all required. That's cool. Now, new password and confirm password need to be the same. So we need to have another check here. So if new password Oops, sorry. Values dot confirm password. Then we need passwords do not match. So if we, like for instance, if we did test. Oh, hang on a minute. What's going on here? That's not good. What have I done? Something's not right. Confirm, new, password, confirm. Aha! Gotcha, the IDs. That needs to be confirm password. There we go. Confirm. So, let's refresh. Okay, so if that was test and that was just QQQQQ, submit. That's required. Submit. Okay, that comes out like that. But we're not checking the if false 1 2 3 if false if values sorry if the new password doesn't equal the confirmed password. Let's try that. Yeah, passwords do not match. Excellent. This is good. This is good. Okay. Cool. Now I will obviously wire this up eventually, and then of course you'll get there'll be security checks on it as well for things like common passwords or passwords that don't match a certain pattern. But I'm not overly worried about that too much right now. So I think I'm pretty happy with that. We've got both the profile form and the security form wired up to the front end at least. So I'm going to pop that over there. We're going to create a login form now. Now, login form is going to be much the same, I guess. We obviously need to have username and password, like so. And we're going to have values dot username is required, and also password is required. Okay, that's all the checks we're going to have. Brilliant. And we're also going to wire this up. So this is login. Login. And here we've got, what do I call it? Username. So this would be username. Username. Good. Password. Whoopsie, password, like so, and password. And I've gone and screwed up the HTML4, haven't I? I've probably done that in the security form too. Yeah, HTML4 first name, that needs to be HTML4 existing, and this one needs to be for new password, and this one needs to be for confirm password, which I've done there. Okay. Back to the login form. So we don't have that. That is our login button. So this is now login form. Login form. Oops. and that's good. So let's go to let's create a new page. Well, I've created it, haven't I? I've log in here. And then this here, we're going to have the login component. Login form. Okay, so now let's go to login. Your username and password. Or, well, that's wrong. That needs to be password. Not new password, password. There we go. Okay. We also need to have a registration form. Have I actually got that down on here? Let's put that in there. Registration. Can I search for this? Create register form. Yes, I have. Create register API endpoint. Okay. Cool. I'm going to just lower the desk because my hips are killing me because I've been stood up so long. Let me just lower the desk. Bear with me a minute. Okay. So, we've got the username and password. Awesome. Hit login, that's required. Hit login, that's required. Okay, good. Good. So, if we could wire this up. We could wire this up. So, if we went to with hard-coded usernames and passwords, just to get this to flow. So we could on login.js here in the login form. What it's doing is it's doing an alert here. So alert.stringify. So if I did something like why is the username password? That's not good. Hang on. So this is text. There we go. All right, so if I did P Fisher, right, and the password was test, and then hit login, that's what we got. So, excuse me, if we, at this point, we want to do a handle login. So, what we want to do is we've got auth.js here. We want to call this handle login, and we want to pass in some hard-coded values. So Pete and Fubar is the username and password, and so the username, I'll set the username here as Pete and Fubar. Whatever with that, that's fine. So what we want to do is in login form on submit, we want to call handle login, and we want to get the username and the password, and the username of this is the values, and I'm going to do values.username. I mean, I could just supply values. That would work. Maybe I could do that. Let's try it. Okay, so handle login is going to handle this, and then it's going to return a set user, or it's going to return false. So at this point here on login, we can do user is equal to this. Then we can do, so let. Then we can do is logged in. We can do if is logged in. If is logged in. We can do a redirect. So with the redirect, what we can do, let's do set submitting is false to. We could do window dot is logged in and is browser. Window dot location is equal to / account. I think there's no need for that. And then I would also have at this point I would have the notices. Okay, so now the reason why this was flickering around, I think is because this isn't a build. So I think what I need to do is I need to run Gatsby build. And I can't remember whether I've set the vhost up. Bear with me a second. I don't think I have. Now this is strange. Doesn't appear to be. Is it still building? Yeah, there's an error. That's why. Window is not available during server-side rendering. Gotcha. Oh, I've had this before, haven't I? I've had this before. Now this is saying that on line 9, it's got nothing about window there, but that's not. So let me see. This is running off against the handle login on line 9. Building static HTML for pages. Attempting to redirect. Set user. I think I need to do. I think I need to. In index, let's just not handle the login there. And see if we can run that again. No worries, Journey. Have a good day. Have a good day. Thank you for joining. Aha, yes. Because I was trying to log in during the build. All right. So, whoops. So, I think maybe. Is this going to allow me to? Yeah. Okay, so we've got the home page. So now if we did log in, there we go. And if I remember rightly, my credentials I set on auth were Pete and Foobar. I think. So if I did Pete and foobar and hit login, yeah, we've now got to the dashboard. Yay! So we are logged in. In the sort of hacky sense. Excellent. So now we need a log out, don't we? We need a log out button. So I think, I mean, ideally I want to have like a bit up here where we can have the username and everything. But that would mean hacking up the header menu, and I don't know. Maybe that's too much of an ask for the MVP at the moment. So maybe I just put something in here. So like maybe I have. I'm thinking like here on. I don't know if you can see it in at Latazan. We have the user profile there, something like that. So anyway, in it would be in the menu profile in here at the bottom. We would have a log out. So we would have log out. And the logout were to go to, well, it's not actually going to go to a page, is it? It's going to just run logout. So we would have something like on click event. That would be a function. Can we do a closure in here? And in here, can we do a logout callback? And can that callback go to a function which is a redirect? So window.log location is equal to login. Something like that. Not sure. Don't know. Let's have a go. I'm going to need to do another rebuild. Okay, cool. That's sorted. So, oops. Okay, let's refresh the page. There we go. We've got log out now. If we click on that, it goes to login. Excellent. Wonderful. So let's try and go to account. It goes straight back to login again because it tried to get to account, but I'm not logged in, so it logs me out. So let's also go to account profile. Yep, that's good. And let's try and do account security. Okay, so let's try and log in. Let's do Pete, and it was foo bar. So let's hit login. Sweet. So let's go to my profile. Yep, courses, security, and then eventually the logout. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm chuffed. I'm chuffed with that. I mean, it looks terrible. I'm no designer, but it looks like the functionality. It's getting the functionality. The skin on the bones can happen when the bones are built. Good. Okay, so let's go back to our little board here. Let's see. where we are at. So let's get rid of that for now. Create the login form. Done. I mean, we need to put messages and stuff, like welcome messages and error messages. Hi, Markov. I am developing the new howtocodewell.net website. That's what I'm building. And I'm doing it in Gatsby. This will have all of the courses that I've produced over the years and the new ones that are coming on, and also it's going to have the blog. The blog is generated by the Ghost CMS. So howtocodewell.net is the current website, and it really is dated. It needs to be updated a lot. So this is what I'm doing. So a feature that I want on this site that isn't on the old site is the fact of a user login. And then once the user has logged in, they will get to see their courses. There we go. The previous courses that so there's a lot to do here. I haven't wired up the back end at all, apart from the blog. So the blog is running off of Ghost, and it's not designed one bit. I'm literally throwing things on the page. I'm looking for a web designer at the moment to tidy this up. So I'm just working through functionality that hits the MVP, the minimum viable product. So this is the blog at the moment. Let's see if I can. There we go. So these are coming from the Ghost CMS. Okay, so dashboard, profile, my courses, security, and logout. Okay, I think I need to keep going forward and back to this board because this is keeping me on the straight and narrow. The next thing is to create a register form. I think. And I guess what we'll do is once... Oh, thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say. But it's not... It just doesn't... It doesn't do what I want it to do. I want it to be the How to Code Well platform, and it's not. It's a bit tired and a bit dated. So, and there's no user interactions apart from watching some of the old courses that I've got, and there's a lot of old content on there. That I'm hoping that this will be updated because that site is put together by JSON files that are manually created by myself because I was hoping to create some APIs. So they're very old. So yeah, and I'm just seeing this as an opportunity to learn more Gatsby as I go through this. The site is running, the old site is running Symfony, and it's on a very old version of, not a very old, it's on an older version of PHP. And I want to create it on a Jamstack rather than PHP. The APIs that I will be developing over the next few weeks and months as we do this, they're all going to be in Symfony. So the back end will be Symfony. I think it's 5. I don't. Yeah, it possibly is 5.6. But the new stuff is going to be 7.4 at least. I say at least because I see this as a project that's going to happen over the next year. It's not something that I can just throw out. I'm a freelancer myself, so all of this stuff I do in my spare time. Hence the reason why this is Sunday at 16:56. Hey, Rylex, how's it going? So we're going to create a register page. So we've got a login form, we've got a profile form, we're going to have a register. And so recently I've been working on forms. I've got to be careful what I say. But recently I've been working on a lot of forms that are huge, ginormous forms. Like forms where you scroll so far that you get lost. So this registration form, I just want proper simple. I don't want, I want the ability of having, what is the minimum you need to register? A username and a password, essentially. I want the stuff that happens afterwards and an email address. The stuff that happens afterwards, I want that to, your first name, your last name, anything else like that, your Twitter handles or what have you that I want to integrate into this. I want that to be like what you add to your profile after you've registered. Like it doesn't it's not a requirement. Because I was thinking about integrating this to Twitch and YouTube and other and GitHub. So having social sign-ons and stuff like that. But I think that doesn't really warrant. That's not really good on the MVP. The MVP is supposed to be there to get it out the door as quickly as possible with the minimum viable product, which does what I want it to do, and then we can work on from it and create some phases. Maybe the first phase after launch. After the MVP launch is to put social sign-on. But right now, I think username and password is perfectly fine. So yeah, I think we're going to just have a register. So username and password. And now the username could be an email address. And also I want when you register, I want you to automatically log in. I don't want any kind of messy sort of confirmation type stuff, where you're having to wait for an email to come through before you can actually then re-log in. If you've set your password and your username, you should be able to access the courses perfectly fine. I want to make this as easy as possible for people, lower the barrier of entry, but at the same time, still have it secure. So there will be a verification email that goes out, but I don't want that verification email to limit you from actually doing the thing that you want to do. Obviously, if that verification email doesn't get hit, you don't verify that email within, 14 days, 5 days, I don't know, I haven't decided, then that will be deemed as a problem. So eventually, this is something I've talked about with a client of mine. I talked about it last year about profiles, user profiles. Is the ability to have sort of gamification of profiles. So you would have a percentage point of the amount of profile data that you've submitted. So the more of a profile you've updated, the more percentage your profile is complete, and you would have a sort of a pie chart, I suppose. Well, not a pie chart, like a percentage sort of badge. I've verified my account, and therefore I have this badge, that kind of thing. But we're talking way ahead. Okay, so username and password, it's both required. And I want this to handle a login, and I want to go straight to the account after I've done that. Now this is going to have to post to API. Check API response, obviously, and then login, handle login. So I'm just putting those there as notes. So we need another page, don't we? We need to have a register page. which will have the registration form. Have I not set that up? Register form. No. That needs to be a register form. I also want your email address as well. So, email. So 3 things I would like: email address, username, and password. I mean, you could even go even further and say, well, the email address is the username. But the thing is, people change their email addresses. So I would prefer it to be an optional thing. Okay, so there also needs to be this check. And we also need to check it against the email that we've got up here as well. So there we go. Okay. Cool. So that's now set to register form, which means that in a register, we should be able to have a register form. Yeah, I'm thinking of doing that. That's a good idea. I'm thinking of doing that on the security form. So we've got the confirm password and new password, plus putting in the existing password, just as an extra check. So this is going to register, which means that if I go to register, oh, I need to build it, of course. I could have just done this in develop mode, but whatever. It's a bit awkward working with redirections when you're dealing with develop mode. So there we go. Register. Why is that? Hang on, what's going on? Hang on a minute, what's happened? Let's go back home. There we go. So that's the home page. There we go. Username, email, password, register. Excellent. So if I go back to login, username and password, brilliant. And if I went to accounts, yeah, I'm not logged in. Okay. So if I log in, I think so these are just hard-coded values at the moment because there's no back end. Okay, so that's cool. So in security, we have the existing, new, and confirm. Okay, so if I hit log out. Now, there is a test that I want to do. Why is this? Yeah, okay. There is a test that I want to do. Because if I go to Pete and my dummy password. Right, if I go to register. That shouldn't happen. So what I want to do is have a check somewhere. So here I would have is logged in, and we would have if logged is logged in and is browser. Then we would do window dot location is equal to account, I think, to get around that. Oh, I've done it in the return call. Sorry. As I'm looking at why this is not working right. Okay, so let's see. If I was to, I'm gonna have to do the build again. And then what I'm gonna do is write some acceptance tests to do this, to back this up, because you know it's quite fragile, I guess. So okay, so let's refresh. Okay, that's gone straight back to the account. So if I go back to, so I'm logged in at the moment, right? So if I go to register, good, go straight back to the account. Sweet. Let's create some unit tests, or some acceptance tests, because there's an awful lot of things I've put in here and I haven't tested them. So with tests, we're going to go acceptance tests and account. This is logged out test. Let's do some more logged out tests. This is the dashboard. This is the profile. We can do another one here. We can call this, whoops. Let's do security. All of these pages should not be accessed if you're not logged in. Security. So expect they should all go back to login. So we've got, let me just go through these. We've got the course as well. That needs to be added. Course. Now, let me see. I'm not sure if we've wired this up yet with the old. I might have to run log out with just to force any logged in NUS to be logged out. I think. Maybe. I don't know. Oh, we'll try it. We'll try it. It might just fall flat on its face. Okay, so to run this, I would do npm run test acceptance. So it does a clean, and then it does a build to get it, you know, proper clean, you know, like a controlled test, and then it should go through. There's some console logging there, and then it should go through the tests. It should skip the unit tests and go through the logged out tests we've done. So skipped 5, and it's passed. Sorry, skipped 2, past 5. Yep, that looks good. Okay. Okay, so that's that. So let's see if we can log in. So let's do a login test. Login. Now, we have, let's just remove all of these things. We don't need those. And change that to be login. As long as it's got acceptance test on the end, it will run all the acceptance tests that have that. These tests are unit tests. or sorry, these ones at least. So, okay, log in. Okay, so redirects to dashboard. Board after log in. Okay, so we'll log out first, and then we'll do a visit of login, and then we will. And now I'm gonna have to remind myself of these commands or these operations. Bear with me a second whilst I find out. It is in. It's Nightmare, isn't it? Nightmare JS. And it is. So you have to get the order right. So go to and then end some value then. Okay, but how do I want an example of clicking and going to places. Here we go. Go to there, type in there, click that, and then wait, and then check. Okay, so what I'm hoping is that we would go to here. So the visit is the go to, and then here we would do type. So what I need to do is I need to find the, here we go, the username and password of these things. So if we go to View, Developer, DevTools, I believe this is just, yeah, username. So that would be username. That is definitely the ID, isn't it? Yep. Passing in the value of Pete, and then also putting in the password. I'm just checking that is the right thing. Down here, that is password. Yep, good. Password, that would be foobar. Okay, and then if we followed, if we followed here, we then click the button, and the button would be, what have I called the button? Have I called the button anything? Button ID save. Okay, fine. We'll go with that. Save. Click save. Okay, and then what happens? After save, we wait, and that's waiting for a response. So here we would do a wait, and I think, if I remember rightly, because I did this the other evening, wait can take a set of milliseconds. If we did wait, wait. Yes, throws wait in milliseconds. So, for example, 5,000. So if we did a wait of, say, I don't know, yeah, 5,000, whatever. And then we do evaluate document.location path name. This should be account if we've logged in correctly. But, you know, it could all just catch a fire. Let's see if we can run the tests. Now, unfortunately, acceptance tests, by the general nature of it, do take a long time to do. So the more of these, the more it's going to take for things to run. And of course, this isn't linked up to the back end yet. So, yeah. Yeah. So hopefully they all look like they're good. Let's scroll up here. Yeah, none of these have failed, which is good. Login passed. We do have some warnings. Cannot read property of equal of undefined. But let's just do a test, shall we? If we did, if we called this something completely different, like and just button bashed the keyboard emo, and then tried it again, this will be my control test. And if this works, then there's obviously a problem. And I can't trust my tests. Okay, so now it's running. Interesting. Yeah, that's true. I could do a failure test. However, this has passed, and I'm... It's not... That shouldn't have happened. That shouldn't have happened. Homepage, blog, live, login. So, something is totally amiss with this. This is confusing if I scroll to the top here and took a look. So evaluate, then end. So evaluate the path name, document location path name, and then end. Maybe this isn't the best way of checking. Then console log, catch console error log. When we go to the index page, we get this my dashboard. So we could check for that. I think a bit like this. So do all of this stuff. So visit the blog and then await for that page and evaluate page dot. Let's try this. Oh, hang on. Evaluate page body dot text content. Then expect that. So if we go to, and I'm setting this to a variable here, and then expect that. Okay, let's see if we can, I just copy that for a mo, bring that into here. So we do this, click and wait. Fine. So this is let. Bear with me, my cat is crying at my door. Okay. So, at this point we do the evaluate and the end. So, I'm thinking we do... I'm thinking we set this to be a variable. So we do login, let login, because then I can break this up into chunks. And then oh wait, hang on, what have I just done? That's not I've what have I done? That's not right. There we go. It's this one here. I want to do let login is equal to the visit of login. Fine. Then that goes to the end, like so. Okay. Then we do login.await. So that's login await. No, it's not right. Sorry, bear with me a minute. So this is message. Is login evaluate. There we go. Boom. Dot end. There we go. And then what we want to do is we can get rid of all this and all that. We want to do expect message to contain my dashboard, and eventually you could change this to be to contain the username. I guess. I can't spell dashboard at all. Okay. Right. Let's tidy up the all that. Okay, so we log in, we type the username and the password, and we wait for 5 seconds, which is ridiculous. And then we actually we don't need that, do we? We then do an await, login, evaluate. Okay, let's see if we can get this to run. In fact, what I'm going to do is just change this to be login acceptance test. And in NPM, because I think this is going to take a while, so I want to just focus on this test. What we're going to do is think. We're going to go to package.json file, and what is the test here? I'm going to just create a script, and we're just going to do test bug. And we're going to focus on that. Whoa. We're going to focus on, this. Here we go. Login acceptance test. Go into package.json. Pass that in. Okay, so test bug should focus solely on that test bug. Come on. Well, hey, okay. That looks okay. This is the output. Excuse me. And I don't want it to have my dashboard in. So I'll tell you what. Why don't we change this back to the location document location.path name. Location document dot path name. Path name. And this should be register. Register. So this is redirects to register or prevents it prevents I don't want it to go to log. I want login. There we go. Prevents invalid login. As Marco mentioned earlier, what I could do is test the fact that there is a failure and a success. So this should be testing the failure in the sense that it should go back. I know I can't. What day can I type? So this should hopefully go back to when you submit. Actually, it shouldn't run. Yeah, that passed. Okay, that passed. Good. Let's grab that and put in some success messages. So this is redirects. I can't type. Redirects to dashboard after valid login. Okay, so we go to the login, we put in Pete, and I think my hard-coded password is foobar for this. That should now go to account. Okay, let's try it. Oh, I need to change that to be, so that's invalid login. Invalid login. And that is valid login. And what I can do is I can target this one by, in the package.json file, do that. Okay, so let's run that. My cat, that's why I keep looking over there, my cat has gone into my cupboard. She's just glaring at me through the crack of the door, planning my demise. It's Pixel, not Flick. I don't know where Flick is today, actually. I have seen him today, but I haven't seen him for the past few hours. Okay, so valid login acceptance test. Redirects to dashboard after valid login. We wanted to go to account, but we've actually gone back to login. So, first of all, to make sure that I'm not going mad, let's go to, in here, let's go to, just check the username and password, Pete and foobar. This is what I put in the auth.js file down here. It was hard-coded Pete and foobar. That's correct. So maybe there's a problem with the way local storage is handled in these tests. Maybe. So what happens with Nightmare is it spins up an Electron little application that you can do your tests against. So it runs the site in Electron. Maybe that's the issue. I don't know. What I'll do is I'll go to here and log out. And what I'll do is I'll copy and paste that into there and that into there. Now hit login. Okay, so I know it works. I know it works. I just don't have a repeatable test to tell me it works. Um, let's see if there's an example. I'm obviously wiring this up completely wrong. Um, I don't suppose there's any login examples here. No. Um, ooh. Oh, I might not be setting the URL, the actual HTTP method. It could be defaulting to get rather than post. Okay, that could be it. So go to URL headers, load to the page, optional headers. So I don't know what the default header is, but it certainly does need to be changed to a post request. I think. Does it? I'm doubting myself now. Of course it does. It needs to. Let me just check something a minute. No, because I'm clicking the button, and that button would submit the form, right? So, and the fact that if I was just to put in any random ID to click a button, is that going to throw an error because the button ID is wrong? It should do, in theory. It's taking its sweet time. Okay, yeah, can't find element by selector. Okay, so as that didn't happen beforehand, we can safely say that the button was clicked. Good. Okay, so essentially that is done. Those three elements are set. So the question is, maybe it's not waiting long enough, although it is a lot. Oh wait. Maybe evaluate. And then that returns to, I think what I'm going to do is console. Well, no, I know what the message is. This is the path, isn't it? I know what that is because it tells me. Something isn't right. I'm wondering if I can just go to... I'm wondering if someone has done a blog on this, because that would be very handy if I could find it. Nightmare JS test login. I'm sure someone's done this before. So testing with Nightmare. This example tests that Hoodie's login function fails. Sounds a little like what I need. Load the page. Fine. I could use the before each to do the logout. That would be a good idea. Okay, loading a page. Describe the home page. Here we go. Describe auth. So it should load without an error. Fine. Submitting a form. This is what I want here. So we go to auth, then on page, type a message. If type is alert, then done. Interesting. Not sure what that means. Type login, put in the login, and then invalid password. Hit there. 200, and then catch done. Given bad data. What about data that is not bad? Okay. Putting in the email, signing up, submitting the form. This selector only appears on the catalog page. Oh, right. I see. Of course, because on wait, what you can do is wait for a particular element to appear. Gotcha. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to go to let login, visit type, click save. So that comes down to about here. Then you're waiting for 2 seconds. Okay. Then you're now this can take a selector, can't it? So I could do I could go back to here and I could take this. So I could do view developer here. So strong. Oh, H1. So I could look for the H1. So I could do. I know it's not great, but let's just bear with me just a second whilst I sort this out. Then end, then result equals done, catch done. So end, result is done, catch done. Of course, this needs to be. This isn't right. So, if we have that, then I'm hoping that will work. Let's see. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Yay! That passed. Okay, just to make it a little bit more sort of... I think I could do my dashboard. I'm thinking I can do this. Because you're essentially waiting for these elements to appear. Dashboard. I'm hoping I can do that. Unless this is defining a proper selector, I need to go back and have a look at the documentation for that. If we go to wait. Wait. Come on, here we go. Wait in milliseconds, wait for a selector, wait for a function. Maybe I can't do that. Extracts from page, exists. Returns whether the selector exists or not on the page, is visible. HTML, PDF, title, URI, path. Yeah. Okay, so if I was to put in a, a selector on the index page, so it was like ID and then class name is something like, I don't know, logged in. So if we were looking for h1.logged in, or yeah, logged in, and then use that as the thing to grab. So if we did page, so in form, common, pages, account, security, sorry, in here, if we wait for h1 dot that, okay, cool. So that will then work with valid, and then that's invalid. Let's try it. And if this works, then I'll get rid of that test bug and then add this to the rest of the pot of the things. I'm not overly happy with having the logged in class name. I think just checking a H1 would be okay. Or having a dashboard, because I can put in selectors, can't I? So I could traverse that, so I could have a parent div that had a class name of dashboard. Yeah, okay, cool. So what I'm going to do is in, where are we? In
Hello, coders.
Hello, Jekyller. Hello. Thank you very much for following. Do appreciate it. If we go to not common, it's not in there, is it? It's in user layout, because the user layout is only applied to the user bits and pieces. So we could do class name is equal to user account user page. And then in the test itself, this makes it a little bit more sensible, I think. In the dashboard account.js, get rid of this because that's pointless. In here in the login, we, instead of having that, we do main dot boom, and then has a h1, or even just user page. If we know that user page, if the main user page is for the users, and then maybe we have on, just for clarity's sake, in the common layout on main here, class name, we have public page. Okay, so let's run it again. I think it'll pass. Let's just run it again.
Hello, coders.
Hello, Taragor. Thank you very much for following. I do appreciate it. Thank you for watching me struggle through with Gatsby. I hope you're all well and having a good Sunday. It's remarkable. I've been doing a lot of Gatsby on this project, and yet in the freelance world of of what I do, I've been doing an awful lot of Vue. It's an interesting type of affair. I thought in the freelance stuff I would be doing more React, and therefore I would be, and that was one of my justifications as to why I would be doing this. But it turns out that that's not the case. Okay. So that's passed. That's passed. That's good. I like that. That's passed. Which means that let's go and remove. So that's invalid and that's valid. Let's go and remove the need for. In fact, we can remove that as well. Let's tidy that up. Test up as well. We can remove in. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? In package.json. We can remove this test bug and we can just run all of the acceptance tests. So we're going to run test acceptance. After this, I'm going to then do a test where I can go to the profile page, and a test where I can go to the security page, and a test where I can go to the course page. I have tests to say that I can't go there if I'm not logged in, so I need to do a test to say that I can go there when I am logged in. But before today, I never had the login pages. So login page. Oh, okay, we've got a problem here. Darn it. Async callback was not invoked with timeout specified by jest. Async call was not invoked. Gosh. All right, let's have a look at this. So that's in blog, isn't it? In here. Test it displays the heading. Let page visit blog. Test await page. Timeout async call. Let's just check that out. Maybe I've changed it. Gatsby. No, that is there with development thoughts. Yes, it is still live. I'm still live and kicking. Yeah. Was not invoked within the timeout specified by jest. Really? Really? I mean, it looks okay to me. I don't get it. That should be okay. I know. I've got a lot of work to do. I got a lot of work to do. I'm going to shoot off in about 10 minutes. I'm a busy man. Busy, busy, busy. And unfortunately, this project is a project that I have to squeeze in when I've got time. So I'm not going to be able to look at this for a couple more days after this because I'm, busy with the freelance stuff. So, spinning multiple plates here. If it was a timeout issue, then maybe it will run this time. Which it has. So I've got to be careful there. There are things, and the thing is, this is coming from Ghost, so this is actually doing some API calls. So maybe it was that which was causing it to flake out. Okay, so let's do a test for let's do a test for a profile. So let's create. We'll do login. We'll copy that. Profile. Let's do. The idea is that I want to go to a valid. So profile acceptance test. I want to log in, and then I want to go to the profile page. So I want to do profile acceptance test, redirects, so it doesn't redirect, it redirects to profile, or actually it can access, access profile page after login. So we log out to make sure that the local storage is clean. We do all of this. We should be able to log in. We wait for that, which is fine. Then what we do is if I go back to this thing here, we can then click on .click. We can click on the profile button. So if we go to this here, it is my profile. So I'm gonna just double check the element for that. Ahref class block. Okay, so let's create a class on the profile page itself. So let's do on, where are we? In user profile menu. We will create a class name for each one of these, or an ID. It's probably best an ID. So we do ID is equal to this is my account BTN. Then we do profile, my profile BTN. Down here we can do what's this, courses, my courses. And then in this one we can do my security. Security. Okay, so what we do in the test profile is that we click on not that, we click on my profile BTN, and we wait for main user page H1. Okay, profile acceptance test. Let's see if we can run that. Excuse me. So this will run all the tests again. Hopefully none of them time out. It's a bit brutal, this. A bit sort of, I should have just focused on one single test rather than ran them all, but whatever. Okay. Come on. Come on. Come on. There we go. All passed. Sweet. Okay. So that should have gone to the profile page, and we should also let's go on to profile page here. Why is that not? There we go. We can also check the IDs for these things as well, so we can get input first name. So let's do that as well. So we're going to wait for this. We're also going to wait for input hash first name. I think that's correct. First name. First name is capital camel cased. Silly me. Also do another one for the last name. So this is checking that there are these fields. And then the next one is for the email. And I think it's just email. Like, it doesn't have any camel case to it, no. It's not like email address or anything daft. Now, I'm not sure if wait is the right way for this, but maybe there is something like accepts or something. Whoops, hang on. First name, last name, email. Okay, let's hit save. I'm going to just run profile acceptance test. I'm going to create another package.json argument here. We'll put that in just as this one, just so I can run this single test. And so this is test, what did I call it? Test bug. Oops, test bug. There you go. Come on. There we go. That's passed. Awesome. Right. Let's just do a... let's remove that now. And let's put it back to... on profile. That's fine. Let's see if we can... run all the tests together, including the unit tests. So on the package.json file, we have test, which does the npm test acceptance and test unit. So let's see if we can do that. Npm test. So it'll do the build again. And then it should hopefully do the acceptance tests, which I believe it's doing now. So it's done the profile and logged out. Homepage, yep, that's all good. There was one error though. I think this is a timeout issue again. Timeout issue. Yeah, so this is a problem. I'm not sure if I've set the timeouts correctly. Because these are over 10. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's see if I can run the unit tests. So test unit. Let's see if I can run these separately. So they work. So test acceptance together. It might be a case that these work they have to work on their own, which is okay. Come on. The blog was working beforehand. Come on. No. Rats. Again, it's a timeout. Invalid login. Okay, I think I'm going to have to take this offline and work through these issues. There's obviously a problem with the logout and with the timeout, and it's changing depending on the test. So sometimes it fails on the blog, and sometimes it's failing, like on this one, on the actual login page itself. I think there's a problem with my configuration with Nightmare and Jest. So I need to work that through. But anyway, I need to shoot off because it's now 6 o'clock. And I've been streaming for many, many hours. 3 hours, 24. But I just wanted to get all of this done as much as I could do. And also, thank you ever so much to everybody who joined and watched the code review. And thank you, Tyrannid, for submitting your code for review. And also, do check out the Code Challenges site. I haven't put it up there yet, but I will do very soon for the February challenge. We're going to be dealing with encoding and passwords and encryption. So, thank you ever so much for watching. Happy coding, everyone. Have a good week ahead. Cheers. Bye.